Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on this show because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that from time to time. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. Okay, it's been a week. And we're going to get into it very shortly, but we're going to go through a couple of disclaimers first. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not mention anything in particular, it could be I plumb forgot, or it really wasn't newsworthy in my opinion, so I didn't bother mentioning it. It's the nature of the beast. It is what it is. That's what I like to say. And if you happen to like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. All right, where should we begin? Oh, that's right, summer. Wah, wah, wah. Summer is at Crimson Lights, all up in her feelings. She is like downtrodden, thinking about Kyle and Claire and the fact that whatever she said to Chance and how she basically went ballistic over the thought of Claire being with Kyle. Summer, get over it. Like, stop your whining. Kyle was in your past. And yes, you guys can co-parent together. But he's moved on. Let the guy move on. Although I think he's a little too want right now with Claire, but I already talked about that. Unfortunately, it continued throughout this week. Whatever. Okay, Phyllis comes in, sees Summer. What's up? Supergirl, da-da-da-da. So eventually, Summer, she's droning on about Kyle and Claire, whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Mom. Here I am talking about myself and all my problems. But meanwhile, look at the ordeal you've been through. Summer, once again, you think? All right. So Phyllis basically chimes in about, what Chance has found, this connection to Paris, the clinic, the psych clinic, the farmhouse, Sharon and Phyllis's phone. They have to identify. Okay, yeah, so meanwhile, in theory, there's connection, but still no real concrete proof, all right? Like, if Chance is taking a page out of Lily's book, Thank goodness we didn't see her little self-righteous self this week, but okay. I'm sure this week coming, she'll show up again. All right, so we'll move forward from Phyllis and Summer. Two peas in a pod, it is what it is. Phyllis, you're my girl, but you gotta check her. All right, so from there, we move on to Tracy, and I'm gonna call him Alan Martin. Because as much as we find out about Martin, I have a sneaking suspicion, call me crazy, that Alan happens to still be alive and is like all up in the farmhouse, probably bound and gagged. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. He could very well be the deceased brother, but who knows? Okay, so I'm still going to call it Alan Martin because I want to know a little bit more. So Alan Martin comes to the room that Tracy and he share and basically frightens Tracy, and they have this big conversation like, I'm back, I'm so glad to see you. And Tracy's like, yeah, because she's nervous as hell. So she basically tells Alan Martin about how she wants to postpone the wedding and, really do it right. And what's the rush? Let's get to know one another a little bit better. And, there's really no rush. She probably was just caught up in the moment when she said yes and whatever. Okay, so from there, she ends up eventually putting her hand in her pocket. She does, I don't know, like maybe she took a page out of David Blaine's book, but how she was able to dial Jack on her phone that's in her pocket, which had a bright blue glaring light. I don't know how Alan Martin didn't see this, but okay. Tracy, how were you able to dial Jack from your pocket? Is he the only number in your phone? Because I know he can't be, because I know I've seen Alan Martin, call you. What tricks did you pull with that, Tracy? All right. So, meanwhile, downstairs in the club, Jack is there. Ashley shows up and, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Jack basically tells her what's been going on. And she's like, so what are you telling me, that we had like a psychopath living in the house? Like, what is going on? And he's like, we don't know for sure. Chance is following up on some leads. Do gooder Chance. And whatever. Ashley basically says, I got to see what's going on because I'll be able to tell who the brother is, whether it's Alan or Martin. Tracy, on the other hand, swore she could do it. Tracy? No, dear, you're not the one. You're so goo goo gaga in love. You so don't want this to be true that it's Martin. So you're not the one. Sorry, sweetheart. Love you to bits, but you ain't the one. Now, Ashley, she's the one. All right. Just then, Jack's phone rings because, as we know, Tracy dialed his number while in her pocket. And Jack picks up the phone and, yeah, what's up, Tracy? He hears the distress in Tracy's voice. He can hear Alan Martin speaking to her in a particular way that probably was less than stellar. And yet, Jack is still listening. What were you listening for, Jack? A big thud? Then he puts the thing on speakerphone so that Ashley can hear. Okay, that thing was so far-fetched, I don't know. Because in my head, if you're speaking, depending on the volume level, which he was hearing Tracy very, very clearly, I felt that Alan Martin should be able to hear like some response or the music, something from down in the club. Writers, come on, do better. All right, so eventually Jack's like, she needs us. You think? I think so. So they gingerly walk to go up the stairs. If I was Jack, I wouldn't have waited to put it on speakerphone. I wouldn't have waited. I would have been like, what? It's about to go down. Boom, I'm up the stairs. Throw my tie back, I'm up. No, not Jack. No. So they get up there and Alan Martin is there. They knock on the door. They get inside. Jack's like, hi, how you doing? Nice to see you back. Ashley's like, oh, hi, Alan. Oh, blah, blah. I heard the news. I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she's trying to fish out and see, based on responses, who this could possibly be. Okay, she has basically determined that it is Martin. And oh, by the way, at one point, Martin was like, Tracy, why is your hand in your pocket? She kept it there. Eventually, she takes her other hand out of the pocket and she's using both hands to speak. But Tracy, why is your hand in your pocket? That's what he said. That was tickled. I was tickled with that. Okay. So he's like, I need a break. I know something has changed. He had already told Tracy that basically Jack was probably the one that beaked her in her ear to make her doubt him and his love and the whole 9 yards. And he's like, I'm out. He leaves. Tracy's like, oh my god, oh my god, no, no, no. Ashley's like, hate to break it to you, sis. That's not Alan. That's Martin. It is Martin. Oh, no, no, no. Good job, Trace. Good job. But yeah, he's off. He goes down in the club. In my head, why wouldn't you leave? Meanwhile, Chance, he does this like almost like 180 in the club, which he never walks, like behind all the chairs. And yeah, he gets a phone call from Jack. Yeah, Alan, whatever, he was here. He's back in Genoa City, and I don't know where he's going, or if he's coming back or whatever. Chance is like, okay, I'll go check for him. He's right there. He walks over and he's like, hey, Dr. Laurent. He's like, Detective Chancellor. He's like, got a couple questions for you. Well, that doesn't look suspicious, now does it? Oh, I tell you, I laugh so much with all this. All right. He asked him a couple questions, and it was this whole thing of, you mind coming down to the station so we can have a conversation? What? Anyway, Tracy comes racing down the stairs and was like, tell me who you are. Tell me who you... He's like, what are you talking about? You see how they have put you against me? I mean, what is going on? Who are you? And basically, Ashley was like, you better fess up. I can't remember what term she actually used. Jack's like, I'm gonna get you, and oh, that was hilarious. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. And Tracy's like, oh! He goes off with Chance. They reach the station, lickety split, mind you. And Chance is asking him a couple questions, and he's like, you know what, your fingerprints. We're just waiting back for confirmation of the fingerprints, and I'm sure they're gonna be yours at the farmhouse. And we found the girls' phones and whatever. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and he is just playing this. That's Alan Martin, mind you. So eventually, pushing forward, Chance is like, I have somebody here to see you. So he just assumed that it was like Tracy and Ashley and whatnot. It's Sharon and Phyllis. Yay! Okay, so those two come in, guns blazing, basically, like, why did you kidnap us? What is going on? Like, what was this sick experiment you're talking about? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. I don't even know it. Like, so they had concocted some sort of plan to basically Jedi mind trick him, if you will, into fessing up. Story short, they do this reverse psychology thing on him, and get him to a point where he's so angry that he ends up losing it. And this is after Phyllis was like, you failed. You failed. You're a loser. Loser. And he's like, enough. See, I can't be as dramatic as I want to be just because I'm still healing, but enough. It was funny. He's like, Alan was always the weaker one. So yeah, it was this whole confession, if you will, that in theory, he is Martin. So again, I say, I think that it's not over. Here's some more predictions, probably, pedaling back to last week. Again, I think maybe Alan is still alive and is bound and gagged in the farmhouse that was rented. Or could be um, Ian Ward is involved somehow. Because why would he even, again, let's just call him Martin now. Why would Martin put Sharon and Phyllis together? He doesn't know. He only met Sharon, once? He's never met Phyllis. So, it just doesn't make sense. How would he know all this information about them and their past? He wouldn't. Oy vey. All right. So that had kind of come to a bit of a head, if you will. Moving right along to Kyle, Claire. Kyle, Claire, and Audra, Sally. You'll see how they intertwine. So Kyle and Claire, they meet. They happen to bump into one another at the coffee house, and it was a whole lovey-dovey. Again, I'm not ragging on them. I prefer them together over him and Summer. But Claire is bothering me. Her and her 20 questions, which she still won't stop. Cut it out. All right, at one point, basically, Kyle's like, yeah, what if we moved in together? Which I knew that was coming. It was a mile down the road, but I was so there. I knew it. Yeah, so she's like, oh, what? What? Claire, you didn't see this coming? How did I see this coming and you didn't see it coming? Oh, I know, with all your 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 questions. That's why you didn't see it coming. You're too focused on the wrong thing. And why do you need your grandfather's approval so badly? Who you should care about approval is maybe your mom and dad. You grown, get over it. Huh, I just hope my grandfather will turn around. I hope he can see things the way that I do. Insert Audra. So basically, Victor had basically propositioned Audra that she could run a division, and all she needs to do is basically corner Kyle to, I guess, cheat on Claire so she could see that he's a no good, dirty dog, whatever. I don't know exactly what he wants Audra to do, but I think it was to kind of seduce him out of the way. Audra, once again, and here let's insert Sally. Because see, Sally, you my girl on this. You were holding it down. Sally was like, oh, what are you talking about, Audra? Because they were having, I think they were at the club. Doesn't matter where they were. It could have been society. Whatever. There's only 3-4 places. And they were having a conversation where Audra was telling her about what Victor's offer was and what he wanted her to do. And Sally is like, no, this is not good. No, 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 no. Why would you subject yourself to this? Are you crazy? Are you insane? Like, why would you basically go back to somebody who's done you dirty? This is what I said. Audra ain't gonna listen to me. It is what it is. And she's going to get herself into a whole wallop of trouble. And Sally's like, why would you want to hurt Claire? What has she done to you? Like, you do know that they're dating, and the Newmans are powerful people. Are you crazy? And she's like, I've been in, worse situations than this, Sally. She's like, well, that really makes me sad. Like, do you want me to tell you, like, as a friend, like, what I think? Or would you prefer I just kind of stay silent and, listen? She goes, well, I'm telling you because I value your opinion, whatever. She's like, yeah, again, this is nuts. You are insane. You're crazy for thinking that this is a good thing. Okay, Audra's like dead set she's gonna do this. And so Sally's like, look, if you're gonna do this, you better make sure you have stuff like ironclad, so to speak. So she's like, not to worry, I'm gonna go to Victor, I'm gonna tell him, blah, blah, blah. And she eventually tells Victor, that's pretty much how the week had ended, what she wants. How should I say this, Audra? Good luck. All the best. Godspeed. This is not going to work well for you. Just saying. Maybe she'll get Holden to help her somehow with this. Maybe like film or who knows. Kind of side plate of Nick and Victoria. Victoria, she ended up having some big conversation with her father about Claire and Kyle, and don't mess with them, and because you might lose Claire, and if you don't lose Claire, you'll probably lose me. Victoria, move on. Like, you keep threatening your father as if he really cares. Sure, he loves his family, but Victor, are you that bored? You need to go back to the office, do a couple of $1 billion deals, or just stop this nonsense with this meddling in everybody's business. So Victoria ends up meeting Nick because Nick and Sharon are going to go on this family trip. Whereas Phyllis is like, okay, you're going. All right, then. At this point, does Phyllis want Nick back? Is she toggling between her wanting him back or wanting Billy? I don't know. Phyllis needs to get a grip on reality. So Victoria tells Nick, just don't get back with your exes, especially not Phyllis. Like, don't. You always want to be the hero. You always want to save the day. You need somebody with you, but they ain't the one. Don't do it. Like, you're going on this trip. You're probably going to send the wrong message. And yeah. Nick, I've never been a chick lover with Nick and Sharon. Never have I ever been. Even when they were like in their younger days, never. However, I'm going to side with Victoria on this one. Don't do it. So much baggage between, and I normally love you with Phyllis, but there's so much baggage between you and those guys. Like, let it go. It's going to be a disaster street. I don't know what to tell you. But you grown once again. All you grown people, you will figure it out. And hopefully it won't end in heartbreak. Just saying. So yeah, did I miss anything? I don't think so. Because it was pretty much the Tracy Martin, Alan Martin, whatever, the Kyle Claire. It was just pretty much those people throughout this week. Yeah. So there you have it, folks. That's pretty much what happened. Um, we'll see what's going to happen this week coming. Hopefully, we will get maybe a little bit more information about the whole Martin, Allen, whatever. Hopefully, they may, we'll find out finally about the Aristotle Dumas, whatever his name. Hopefully, we need to like get these storylines going. I'm just saying, writers, let's get it going. All right. All right, guys. Once again, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so great if you hit that like and subscribe. And again, hit the bell notification. And please share, share, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least that's what I think. Anyway, I will catch you next time. And you all have a wonderful week. You know, I love you lots. Take care. Bye.